With the African Cup of Nations well and truly underway, would a team of AFCON's best stars win the Premier League? Well, today, we're gonna find out. I have replaced Luton Town with Africa FC, a newly formed team that will compete in this season's Premier League. And just for fun, I've given them Manchester United's Champions League spot as well, because I didn't feel United did very well with it. Sorry, United fans. The team consists of stars like Mo Salah, Victor Osimhen and Andre Onana, so we will see how good this team could be if they all played together. However, I won't be in charge of this team. I have left it in the capable hands of real-life Senegal Manager Aliou Cisse, as they won AFCON last time out, and he's being backed up by the current Egypt manager, Rui Vitoria. Looking at the season preview, the media has Africa FC predicted to finish in 6th, above the likes of Manchester United, Spurs and Aston Villa. Let me know down in the comments section where you actually think this AFCON team is going to finish in the Premier League. Going into the first game of the season, Africa FC would take on Newcastle United at home. And the starting 11 that was named for that tie was very interesting, with Cisse opting to pair Mo Salah alongside Osimhen up front. However, the goals in this game all came from set pieces. First, Trippier scored in the second phase of a corner before Edmund Tapsoba headed home from a Mo Salah corner. After the first game of the season, Africa FC are sat in mid-table. So let's sim forward just a little bit just to find out who Africa FC get in their Champions League group. I also have to give a shout out to FM Custom Kits, who put together all the graphics for this video in record time. I will leave a link to his website down in the description. If you haven't gone and checked him out, please do go and do so for custom kits for your save. And also massive shout out to CTXCB, who actually made this database. Anyway, let's jump back into the video. Jumping forward to the end of August, this team has done pretty well in the Premier League so far, beating both Fulham and Burnley, and currently sit 3rd in the league table. And in the Champions League, they've been drawn in Group G alongside Barcelona, Porto and Red Star Belgrade. So let's advance to the 1st of January to find out how this team is doing kind of at the midway point of the season. Diving back into the save in January, and Africa FC are doing much better than I thought and are actually up in 2nd in the league. There was a rough patch at the end of October going into November, but this was corrected in December, and they even got wins in that month against Chelsea and Spurs. The team are out of the EFL Cup, however, after losing to Bournemouth in the first round, but did progress in the Champions League, narrowly finishing as group runners-up behind Barcelona. So they progressed into the knockout stages, where they will face German side RB Leipzig. However, this is where I was an absolute idiot, because obviously moving into January, AFCON started. So all of the side's best players then left for international duty. The league form did suffer with so many players being away from the team, but they still did manage to progress through the 3rd and 4th rounds of the FA Cup. For those of you who are interested, the final of AFCON in-game was played between Mali and Morocco. And at the time of recording, both teams are top of their respective groups in real life, so this final could be a possibility. In-game, Morocco dominated the final, winning the game 5-1 to be crowned champions of Africa. And this is what the full knockout bracket looked like for the tournament. So now, with all their stars returning from AFCON, surely Africa FC are going to start to surge up the Premier League table. Results were good going through the season, and Africa FC managed to finish 4th in the Premier League, with Mo Salah scooping the Golden Boot. So they didn't win the league, but they were actually doing much better than I expected, and they were also pretty good in cup competitions as well. In the FA Cup, the team powered their way through to the final with wins against Aston Villa, Chelsea and Newcastle to set up a fixture with Manchester City at Wembley. Unfortunately, City had too much firepower in the shape of Erling Haaland in this one and managed to lift the trophy with a 2-0 win. And in the Champions League, Africa FC managed to thrash RB Leipzig in the round of 16, winning the game at home 7-0, but losing on the road 3-1 to progress with an 8-3 aggregate win. That set up a quarter-final tie with Real Madrid, and again the Africans were impressive at home, winning the games with goals from Lookman, Salah and Hakimi. At the Bernabeu, Madrid did clap back with goals from Joselu and Camavinga, with the game to be decided by penalties. In the shootout, Andre Onana came up clutch, saving penalties from Luka Modric and Eduardo Camavinga for the team to progress to the semi-finals. Here they'd come up against Arsenal, and sadly they couldn't get the job done at home this time, with the game finishing 1-1. At the Emirates, Arsenal managed to clinch the game in extra time after a 2-2 draw on the night, with Kai Havertz heading home the decisive goal. So no Premier League trophy for Africa FC, but this was a very good season regardless, a final appearance in the FA Cup, semi-finals in the Champions League, and a top 4 finish in the Premier League. But do you think you could do better? I'm going to post the edited data files of this over on my Patreon for free. You guys can go over and see if you can win the Premier League with this team. And if you like this sort of video, check out this one popping up right here, right now. For every win that I get in FM, I can steal a player from my opposition.